Why has Italian football died?
Juventus, 2006. No, well, yes, that is actually what's going on. Calciopoli, if you heard of it, the scandal. That's where it actually all started, in my opinion. The sanctions labelled on Juventus, and well, we were incorporated as well. We did a bit of shady dealings ourselves. I'm not gonna lie, but it did harm Italian football. Juventus relegated to Serie B. Milan had a lot less capital to spend. So when your top teams in the league can't spend anymore, it attracts less talent to the league. So again, it's all started from that point there. But yeah, I feel like recently, and I know everyone's been writing eulogies on Serie A, but in the last couple of years, we've probably been the second best country in Europe in terms of
No, we're not going to let you have that one. Just because you're making it to finals.
Let me just...
That's a madness, bro.
Let me just pull up the coefficient.
That don't sound right, bro. Don't sound right.
I feel like we're second in the coefficients. So it's it's I feel like there's a couple things that happened. Obviously, Juve losing 5-2. French Montana coming out at the Juve ground singing.
That there was confusing.
That when I can't lie, I was looking at my Juve team brothers saying, "Bro, what are you doing? This is my league that you're ruining here."
I mean, you could just look at the player this season, last season. I think, it doesn't really seem right.
This McTominay.
Now, this is the thing. This is the thing. I don't think that's an issue, in my opinion. The reason being is I feel like McTominay wasn't being played in the right positions. He should have been at United. He wasn't a 6. He wasn't a 8. He was a box crasher, and that is all he does at Napoli. He's a box crasher.
I didn't even know Ted had gone into his camera like this, man.
Rafa has blamed Manchester United for his league.
He said McTominay, calm for a player of the league.
Listen, he was a box crasher and he had a phenomenal season. That is what he is.
To be fair, Napoli won the league and he was a big part of it in his first season. So
yes, but Man United couldn't win anything, still can't win anything, and he wasn't a big part of that team.
Listen, I'm not hearing no McTominay. United didn't use bro. He was at the club for basically 9 years. They played him in those positions.
In every position.
Came in every aspect as a midfielder.
And he was a leak.
He suits where he is.
It was a media
That's
leak.
what I've got to say.
All right, okay. So
this is the thing.
And well done to him, because I'm always happy for United, Brad. Cool.
But I feel like it's not the case of the league. I do feel like it is a case of he has found a spot, not because of the quality, but he's actually found a spot where the system actually works for him in terms of he does have that license. He's got 2 guys behind him that take care of everything defensively in terms of Anguissa and Lobotka. He doesn't do any tempo. He's not come here and acts like Prime Pirlo or something. He's come here and been the guy that is he's basically the Frank Lampard of Napoli. Just you know the late box runs. You know the shots from the edge of the box. He's not come here and been messy. He's come here and been effective, and that's what I feel like when people laugh. It's like, yeah, he's not the best player in the league, but he's been very, very, very effective for what Napoli do. Well, Napoli did, because they're not doing the exact same anymore.
Even Anguissa. Even Anguissa.
Again, Anguissa was another prospect that should have performed better than he did in the Premier League. But I feel like people forget that it works kind of both ways. Salah was great in our league, doing wrong, but he blew up in the Prem. Do you see what I'm trying to say? It's a case of sometimes it's not about where you are, it's about who you're with.
To be fair, on Anguissa, I thought he was actually decent at Fulham anyway. Like, he was. I thought he was a fairly good player at Fulham.
Yeah,
Like,
and Gisa was again, and the reason being is obviously Napoli would probably have to shove out Fulham because Prem League was where the Mueller is at. If he was at a better club, Napoli probably wouldn't have afforded to bring him there. Or I think did they get relegated when they brought him?
Yeah, he went on loan.
Yeah, or loan. That's it. So,
Yeah.
again, my thing is the disparity between the Premier League and Serie A, in my opinion, is more in the bank. When I watch both leagues, they're completely different. Don't get me
do you
wrong.
know what? From what I've seen of this season, Serie A has been very good to watch.
Yeah, but they're playing against Serie A sides.
Yeah, true. True.
They're going machine for machine.
Yeah, this is why it's good to watch because
What are you saying? The low machine there.
yeah,
The snub nose 38, fam.
when any Serie A side has to box someone in a serious game in the Champions League or something like that, you see what happens. You see what happens.
Well, I think Arsenal beat
You
Inter
think?
3-1. Which
No, I know.
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But I think Juventus beat City last year. I think they beat them like 2-0, 3-1. Like, I feel like there are isolated incidents where the Prem will look better. The top teams in the Premier League are better than the top teams in Serie A. That's one thing I can't really deny. But I feel like it's in football, we focus on too much of the top of the table, in my opinion, in terms of if we just base a league performance on 20% of the performance in league in Europe, I don't think that's the right benchmark.
Okay, Rafa, do this. Tottenham can get relegated from the Premier League.
Yeah.
Does Tottenham win Serie A right now?
No.
Do they finish second in Serie A right now?
No.
Come on now, Rafa. Be honest with me. Be honest with me.
No, I wouldn't. I think Tottenham would be maybe a bit higher, but not much. The strength of Serie A at the moment is in the mid-table.
Mhm.
That's where some of the best football is being played. I'm not even gonna lie. As a Milan fan, we play the worst, not the worst, but we play pragmatic football. But if you take sides like Como, if you take sides like Bologna,
I was about to say, Bologna's football inside, crazy.
yeah, I think that the kind of the Serie A isn't top heavy; it's more kind of middle heavy.
On that, Fiorentina, they had a good last season.
Yeah.
And then this season, they were rock bottom for a period. Now they're out the relegation zone, but they were rock bottom for a minute.
Yeah, and I know obviously a lot of Prem fans will laugh at Como and Bologna and think like that.
No, those are good sides.
They're pasta sources or something, like that's
that's where one of them originates from.
Well, Bologna is actually maybe it is, but I feel like there are teams in the mid table of Italy that would comfortably compete with teams in the mid table of the Premier League. I feel like what's happened is the top level of Serie A isn't able to compete with the Premier League because the top leagues in the Prem just have a amount of capital that Serie A doesn't have the access to. But the mid-table, I feel like we can go band for band in the mid-table.
I have to humbly disagree with you, just because I understand that the mid-table Prem clubs also have the cheddar and the capital that some of these top-level Premier League clubs, like take a Bournemouth, for example. Bournemouth have silly money there.
Yeah, they're taking players off you. Well, when you lot are going for the same targets.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I feel like it's kind of not lost in the mid-table, but I feel like it's easier to see the disparity in the top between the two leagues, but it's a lot harder in the middle. That's just personally because I feel like teams like Como do actually have money because of
you have to location.
Who owns them?
Yeah.
Atalanta have money because who owns them, but also I feel scouting in the middle bit of the Prem of Serie A is really, really good. If you look at some of the players that have been brought in by the mid-table teams, the scouting's great, and I feel like coaching, especially with like coach like Palladino Italiano, I feel like mid-table Serie A teams are coached really, 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 really well. So I think, yes, whilst Prem has the money, I feel like Serie A has really good scouting, but also, again, really a foundation of really strong managers. And that's what Italy have always had. Italy have always had a base of really good managers. Allegri came from, I think, Cagliari. Conte got a couple of teams relegated in Serie D, and he became one of the best managers in Italy. So again, the upcoming coaches are Palladino and Italiano. So I think coaching and the tactical side is what Serie A is about. Premier League, I'm not just saying you lot are money merchants, you kind of are, but I feel like your ability to get especially foreign talent, is what makes the Premier League so good. I feel like, what's that Bournemouth kid, Ryan, from Brazil?
Yeah.
Just scorching up the league immediately.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's what the Prem's able to, and that is, again, the main difference, in my opinion, is the Premier League, the board of the Premier League, whatever, is so much better than Serie A. The infrastructure of Serie A, the broadcasting deals the Prem is able to do, the marketing the Prem's able to do versus Serie A is it's like night and day. It's like we're still stuck in the 2000s and you guys are not even current day. You guys are, forward thinking in terms of that.
I mean, in the 90s, it was Serie A. That's the Premier League now.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's where my like confusion comes in, because obviously the Premier League brand is huge and it's worldwide. But what do you feel like could be done to get Serie A to that same level that it was in the 90s? Obviously, money is going to be a huge factor, but you also have to think about players were the real key, and players wanting to go to players. I feel like still signed to AC Milan to this day because Ronaldinho was there. Because Beckham, do you get what I mean? Certain players went there, so the history of the football club. When I was growing up, I had a Juventus shirt because Vieira was there. I'm an Arsenal fan, but it was the key. It was like, oh, them man were there, so that's why I want to go and play.
Iconic.
So, do you feel like Serie A can ever get back to the level it was in the 90s? And with the as you said, the mid-table being so strong, surely that's a great bargaining tool kind of to work with. Do you get what I mean? Because you have a strong league.
Yeah, I feel like from off the pitch, firstly, I feel like we've not, as a league, probably put ourselves on the best pedestal. We're signing broadcasting deals on the penultimate weekend, like before the weekend before the season starts in different countries. But not like the Premier League's been able to penetrate Asia, Africa, America, well, where Serie A hasn't. We've not had, we can't go. I think India, one of the biggest markets on the planet, we didn't have a broadcasting deal for them for a long, long time. So that's one of the first things. Is actually, one, can we make the league sustainable economically? How can we actually make the broadcasting rights bigger for all the teams? Because that's one of the things in the Premier League. Broadcasting rights, the money that teams get from your Sky Sports, your TNT, is vast. That's what fuels transfers, getting better players. So that's the first thing. Second thing is stadiums. Italy, it takes ages to get stuff done. If you want new stadiums built, we've been arguing about a new stadium for us for ages. And just a couple of months ago, it was finally sorted.
I was just about to ask, what is the update on the new stadium for the Milan clubs?
Yeah, so it's finally been kind of formalized, but it's taken best part 3 to 4 years to do. So it's it's difficult. The local, like communities and councillors don't want to do things that are beneficial to the clubs. Where here, if you wanted to build a stadium, you could do it just anytime. It's easy to do things like that. But for Italy, it takes ages. And the reason why it's a problem is revenue. You can't get, if Tottenham wants to build a stadium, they get all the revenue from the match days. We're not able to do that in Italy. And again, more money means attracts better players, and that's what it is. On the pitch, I don't think there's too much of a difference in terms of enjoyment. Italy is a fantastically to watch, competitive, but for me, the main problem is off the pitch, to get stuff done. So yeah, I feel like on the pitch, Serie A is competitive. We've had a different winner every year since we won it. No, since Juve last won it. So on the pitch, the spectacle, it's fine. It's actually translating that to the masses is the problem. I think once we able to do that, we can get back to those glory days. But we are limited by the powers that be of Serie A. And it's a shame because, again, I'll happily tune in to Pisa versus Como on a Sunday morning at 11:30. Because again, it's more of the football that I enjoy. But yeah, we are not what we used to be. That is a fact. But I do think the league is better than what we're allowing it to show.
So you still believe you're the second best league in the out of European leagues?
I was going to ask.
Yeah, I do. I think in Serie A, it has the best competition. Now, don't look at Serie A table right now. I know we're 10 points behind Inter, but don't watch that. March 8th is coming. We're gonna cook. But when I look at other leagues, and I'm talking recent. I'm talking about we had the Juve dominance era, which wasn't great, but recently it's been very, very competitive. But not just competitive up there; it's been competitive down there as well. And I think that's the thing that makes a league great. If you have competition at the top four, competition in the relegation zones, and we've had that a lot over the last couple of years. And yeah, I do think we won't have as much star power as the Premier League or the Liga, mainly because of the powerhouses that are there. But as a quality to watch, in my opinion, yeah, we're right up there with the Premier League. In probably different ways than you might think. I don't know if you watched Juve Inter 2 weeks ago. The games of the season. It's not just in Serie A, just in total. So yeah, it's definitely the second best league in the world. I'm not hearing it from Bundesliga fans as well. Come on, man, what are we doing?
Bearing in mind on that game, Juve got a disgraceful red card, but they still
Yeah,
managed.
and that's the thing. Terrible refereeing makes great games.
Don't worry, I don't think the Prem can match that when it comes to refereeing aspects. Maybe not so much the spectacle, but no, it's interesting to hear you say, like, obviously coefficient wise, Serie A is second with their teams, but I do feel we all know La Liga's just been top heavy for years, and then the other, like you said, Bundesliga, French league, the Serie A has got a case of being the second best league overall.
Liga One ain't bad, you know.
Huh?
Liga One ain't bad.
I think Liga's really fun to watch, honestly.
I always say that with the French league. It's because the Prem, they end up going buying players from Liga. Well, I'd say Ligue 1 players translate the best to the Prem.
And I think Liga's got a thing where France as a whole has got so much talent. It's the reason why they're tipped to win every national tournament, near enough. Probably apart from this World Cup, where Argentina are probably they're like neck and neck. The French league has always got great talent, and that is one thing as well that I will say about Serie A. Homegrown talent hasn't been the best over the last couple of years. And the annoying thing is that when you actually look at the under 19s and 23s, Italy are always there. It's then translating it from the unders to the top line group. And I always think there's a correlation between how well a country does on a consistent basis at tournament level to how a league performs. If you think about it, Spain was the most dominant. Well, it kind of intertwined in that era where Barca were dominant, Spain were dominant. England, if you have a look at it, now I know there's a lot of foreign imports to here, but if you look at England, the Premier League has been probably the best league in the world since, I would say, the back end of the 2010s, I would say, where Liga probably lost Messi and Ronaldo, lost a little bit that pizzazz, that star power. England have been to World Cup semi-final. They've been to a Euros final.
Twice.
Twice. They should have probably been they had a good chance of beating France in the World Cup. And again, they're favourites to win it again. So I do think having a good base of homegrown talent makes the league better.
Whereas Italy will win the Euros and not qualify for the World Cup. Italy are so funny, bro.
But
catch them on a bad day, they're winning that international tournament. Even World Cup.
And I'm not even joking. I'll show it. So I've got the screenshots, and you know that Euros 2021 picker thing that I had them winning it. But again, that was more of a thing of things coming together at that sort of time where again, I feel like it was kind of the last dance for quite a few of the players there. Verratti's last international tournament. He's not touched the Italian squad since, really. Chiellini, Bonucci, that was the last bits as well. So there was a lot of players in there, quite a few players that had probably reached the high point in their careers. And then since then, there have been an odd few great young prospects like your Bastonis, like your Tonalis, like your Calafioris and players like that, Buongiorno as well, but they've not. There's a bit missing, especially at the top end of the pitch, for Italy. I know you guys had Scamacca in the league for a little bit. They didn't. It looked like he turned a corner at West Ham and then didn't make it. But there feels like there's a bit of it missing. And Italy's performances definitely at these World Cup qualifiers and World Cups of men, or no shows at World Cups have meant. I do think there's a problem within Serie A itself with Italian players.
That is the translation aspect into the national team.